everybody. My name is Rachel Chardea Brown, and I'm here talking with my good friend, Gretchen Campbell, about, just about adoption and adopting in a different culture. I remember thinking of Gretchen and her husband, Ian, as I was writing my book, and I have a character named Win, and Win, too, was adopted into a Caucasian family, and he's loving his life as he should be, just as Calvin is, their son, and little baby Darcy that they have now. So Gretchen, first, can you first tell the viewers and the potential readers, like, what was your and Ian's like heart behind, adopting?
Well, I know it. Adoption is something that had always kind of been on mine and Ian's heart separately before we were ever a couple. So
that's awesome.
Sometime early on, I remember talking about it like when we were dating, that's something I would love to do. Oh, me too. Like just one of those commonality things that brought us together. And then it was like within the first year of our marriage, just talking about growing our family, we decided that one day we will adopt. I remember like we shook hands on it. Like, this is
right now it's a contract.
This is something that will happen in our family. We are agreeing to it now. Didn't really know still at that point when or what it would look like. About a year after that, we felt like Ian had started a new job. We were a little more like financially secure. By little, I mean like we were making more than $1,000 a month at that point. And so we just felt like it was time to start growing our family, and through praying about what that would look like, we really heard the Lord telling us to start with adoption, to keep preventing pregnancy like we had been, and pursue adoption. So when people ask why that, we're still like, I don't know.
Because the Lord said so.
God that when we get to heaven.
Right.
He told us so.
Right. Okay, so now let's just go deep. Let's just go there, okay?
We're going for it.
Let's just put this out there that Ian Campbell is a police officer. He is an adoptive father to an African-American boy, and I'm sure you get calls, texts, emails, whatever, of like, how are you feeling amongst and what's going on? Because, you're on both sides of the, not fence, but like you're feeling all of these different tensions. But yeah, I'm going to let you talk.
Okay. I did. I told my parents and my younger sister last night that the past few months, and specifically the past few nights, we're in Memphis, Tennessee, and I feel like my heart is literally being ripped in half for like the safety of my two guys.
Both of them, yeah.
One of my friends was saying like Ian's been downtown, a police presence at the protest, and she was saying I'll be praying for his safety and praying for them to stop soon. And I'm like, that's the thing, I don't want them to stop. I want Ian to be safe, but I want my Black brothers and sisters' voices to be heard, and everybody, like what they are saying, I want that to be heard, and I want to see change. So it's definitely been just, I don't even have a lot of words to put
I'm sure.
to it. But Ian's been struggling because part of the reason he was in law enforcement before we adopted Calvin, but wasn't on Memphis Police Department until Calvin was like a year and a half, I think, old. But
that's always been his desire too.
Yes, that's always been his desire, but just like having a Black son made him even more passionate about wanting to be a part of the change in the criminal justice system and stuff. And so that's been his struggle lately, is like, part of my desire in this job is to help my son see a change, and like not having to do things that would like make it confusing to Calvin to see his dad doing. Because I'm like, I want him to trust and protect police officers because that's his dad. But also in the world right now, I'm like, I want I want him to do those things, but I want him to like not be fearful, but be aware that he will be treated different.
I absolutely agree. Like, I was looking at a picture of Apollo's the other day of just like him, like there was a police officer at our church and he took Apollo's out to his car and was playing with the buttons. And I'm like, oh, I want you to stay this excited about police officers, but I also want you to be like, have your head on the swivel. Like, is this a good cop, bad cop? Like, want that innocence and purity of like, no, this is good. Like, this is a good person. They're going to protect me. But still there's there isn't a balance, but there's like you got to know both, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moms, we trying to figure it out. Just all we can do is pray, really.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. So tell me some more characteristics I guess you didn't expect when you got Calvin. Like, I guess what were your expectations of like coming into adoption? Because I know for me, and I know for a lot of other people, they're like, adoption, you don't know what type of kids you gonna get. Like, you don't know what their background is, what their family's like. Like, what were your expectations compared to like who he is?
Well, I'll start by saying we really didn't. Adoption is weird and some people are bothered by it, but I always start with like, this is not how God intended it. Like, he's used adoption to share grace and redemption.
Say that, Gretchen.
But that's not the original plan. So it's really messy and it's really broken. So part of it is you have to fill out this. I mean, when people say like, I don't have morning sickness, but I got paper cuts, like it's because the paperwork is like this at the beginning. And some of that is literally saying yes, no, or potential to situations and characteristics of children, from like gender confusion to like heart disease history in family.
Wow.
And so, and like everywhere in between. So we were open to any race, any gender, newborn to 4 years old.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we tried to stay open-minded, didn't really know what to expect. We ended up adopting Calvin. We got the call. He was born at 28 weeks, emergency C-section due to placental abruption. So he was in the NICU. Of all the things we considered, like you said, like an older child who is going to have memories of their biological family, or a child that had been abused or just neglect, malnourishment, like we went through the list, but a micro preemie never crossed my mind for some reason. But it was so evident in a lot of ways that he was supposed to be our son. And so we, that was just something that we did not expect. It was hard too, then going to the hospital a lot, because here is this, Calvin is full of melanin. And he is this dark little
I like the way you said that.
In a
melanin.
He is full of melanin. He sure is. Beautiful. And here we are coming into this NICU. That's terrifying in and of itself.
Yeah.
New parents to this baby that doesn't look like us. So thankfully, the majority of the nurses there were like super kind and excited, because he had been there for 5 weeks.
Wow.
Without a family.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Our agency came into the picture like 2 weeks prior from us. So he was 3 weeks old before he had anyone outside of nurses and doctors caring for him. And so, yeah, that was like the start of it already. Like, can y'all really be his parents? And I'll say at that moment, I had no idea what we were getting into, really. Like, as far as being a transracial family. We had done some educating and learning, because our agency, like, I mean, they required it.
Yeah.
But like, I think until you're living it, there's been so many times that we've been out and people are like, why'd you have to get a black kid?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we didn't pick him, actually. Like, we would have taken any of them that needed a home.
Yeah.
So I think those are the things. Yeah.
My final two questions.
Okay.
One, I remember you talking to me about like how they tell you in adoption to adopt first and then have your own children, like biological children, so they feel more a part of the home. Like, can you talk to that or speak to that of, you said you purposely were preventing. I know that was because the Lord was telling you to do that, but how has that benefited you seeing Calvin now as a big brother?
Well, that was just like our personal take.
Oh, okay.
Like we felt like the Lord was pushing us in that way, and we liked that feeling because, people are brought to adoption in numerous ways, and I don't think any of them are wrong, but I just really, and Ian, liked that this child would hopefully one day get to experience a biological sibling with us. And so it was, I definitely think it also will bring, like, in the future, struggles to some degree. Just recently, though, it's just been bringing up conversation of adoption with Calvin. So Darcy's 7 months old. He was with me. Ian works a weird schedule. I was super sick through my pregnancy. And so little Calvin was like my support. He saw it all. And he loved getting to like see and talk to his baby sister in my tummy. He loved going to ultrasounds and seeing her on the screen. But now he's still like kind of been obsessed with my tummy a little bit, and is like, it's starting to fully grasp. He's like, is Darcy in there? I'm like, no, she's right here. And then he says like, and I was in your tummy when I was a tiny baby.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, no, remember, like, you had another mommy and she didn't feel like she could be the best mommy that you needed. And so she decided to let me be your mommy, but you grew in her tummy. And just different conversations like that have started. Here he comes.
Oh, we got Calvin in the video. Hey, Calvin.
Say hey.
Hey, buddy.
All right, what's your name? Say your name, and then you gotta go real quick.
What's your name, buddy?
Can you sit here quietly? Okay.
All right, so last question, Gretchen. And I'm so glad that Calvin's here because, you know, I'm sure he'll have an answer of his own. What is something that you would want another parent to teach their child about Calvin or Darcy or adoption?
I want to hug her.
On those lines.
Oh. He wants to hug her.
Oh.
Hug you is what he said.
Oh.
Rachel was Calvin's preschool teacher for a few months before they had to move. So, okay, this is the only question that Rachel prepped me with. All others have been on the fly. So I've had time to think of this, and I feel like I have the silliest answer to it.
That's
but all I can come up with is just that. Okay, you can take it now. Just that you don't know someone until you know them.
That's awesome.
Like, that's down to the point. That's what I'm just
that.
like, that people would teach their kids to give people the opportunity to share their story.
That's good. I like that. Yep.
Thanks.
Here's the thing, like the premise of my book and the reason why I wrote the book is for people to see Apollos before they know Apollos, in a sense. And, and that's for every character in the book. So thank you, Gretchen, for having this interview with me, and little Calvin and Ian jumping in. It's all good.
Family affairs.
Please, guys, look for my book. This is Me from A to Z, coming out June 30th. Thank you again, Gretchen.